All right, I just clicked on start streaming. Let's see if we are live on both Facebook and YouTube. Not seeing it on Facebook. Oh, there we go. All right, I am also seeing it on YouTube. Great, fantastic. All right, so we are live. Okay, so today we're going to be talking about the latest news on religion, atheism, secularism, politics. I have Allie here with me. Hi, Allie.
Hi.
How's my audio?
Sounds really good to me on my end.
All right, because people complain sometimes that my audio is too low.
Hi,
Uh,
Beach.
oh, Beach. Hi, Beach. Ellie is going to be keeping an eye on the live chat, which Beach just joined on the YouTube live chat. We also have the Facebook live chat going. The YouTube live chat is going to show up on the screen if you're watching this on YouTube, but the Facebook live chat is not. But Ali is going to keep an eye just to see. We're only going to read questions or comments relevant to the news that we're talking about, right? Not random questions about other things. Um, Ali might read some of the YouTube chats as well. And Ali, again, if anybody uses the super chat function, please make sure we mention it and give them a shout out and read the comment.
Absolutely. Looks like Tammy just joined on Facebook. Hi,
Hi,
Tammy.
Tammy. So if you like what we're doing here, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. We're really trying to get our YouTube channel growing. Our Facebook and Twitter is big, but YouTube, we started late, so we could really use your help if you subscribe to that. And also, if you want to, this news is Atheist Republic News, along with two other shows, which is Atheist Republic Discussions and Atheist Republic Voicemails, is now available on almost every podcast app. So if you just search for Atheist Republic, all three of them are going to show up. And YouTube usually demonetizes these videos, so if you want to support us, so please support us on Patreon. We have one new patron from last week, is David Lally, so thank you for that, David. One thing I did on Patreon, added to um, I added on our Patreon, Atheist Republic Patreon. I'm releasing the Why There Is No God audiobook, available to our patrons only. So far, I released the chapter 1 and chapter 2 of the audiobook for our patrons. So if you're a patron and you're interested, go check that out. We really do need your support, so thank you so much to anybody that is supporting us. We do have some people also supporting us on PayPal. To those people, I usually just email them and thank them. All right, so let's just get on with the show. We have 10 news items to cover, but before we do that, there's this update that we want to give everybody regarding something that we covered before. Ali, do you want to first go into that before we get into the news? Regarding the. Yeah,
Yes.
go ahead.
We definitely should. Regarding Mohammed, right?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. So, we just wanted everyone to know that,
Well,
uh,
give a background to people that don't know what's going on.
yes.
Uh,
Mohammed Hisham from Egypt is an atheist. He's a gay atheist who went on TV as an atheist guest and ended up getting kicked off TV and told that he needed psychiatric help and everything else just for stating like a few innocent comments like I don't understand why we can't be good without God, things like that. They shut him up. They wouldn't let him speak anymore. They kicked him off TV. Well, that went wide, and poor Mohammed has faced so many death threats. Um, and a lot of hate from his community in general. He was forced to do a lot of things that he didn't want to do after the show, after the airing of the show, that he's done to stay alive. But Mohammed really needs help getting out of Egypt right now. So we shared his GoFundMe on Atheist Republic, and we're encouraging anyone. I mean, if you can just skip like a cup of coffee this month, anything to help Mohammed, I know he would be grateful. We'd be grateful. He really needs some support. So
yeah, what is he trying to do? Like I saw in his YouTube that they're now forcing him to pray, go to the mosque. Is that true?
Yes, they are.
What the
Yes.
hell?
And it's so hard for him. So, what he wants to do is he wants to use this money to help gain asylum in another country. This is going to pay for lawyers. Guys, lawyers, especially asylum lawyers who know what they're talking about,
Hmm.
are so expensive, even in no matter what country you go to, because you have to have a specialization to actually handle asylum cases. Any lawyer who knows what they're dealing with here is going to cost a lot of money. And so he's going to have to pay for a lawyer. He's going to have to, have money to travel and everything else. So that's what he's going to be using this money for. He is actually not personally in charge of this GoFundMe. It's actually being handled by somebody else who's going to be funneling him the money as he needs it. So, uh, we
Muhammad himself is
approved.
approved it. Okay, yeah,
Yes.
okay.
Yes, he approved it. There's also a video on the GoFundMe saying that he's approved Troy to do this for him. So uh, that's our update on Mohammed. He's hanging in there, guys, but let's help him get an awesome life.
Right. I mean, I feel bad for him and every other atheist that it is in his situation. I know that he mentioned that there are a lot of other atheists that a lot of his friends have turned on him. A lot of atheists in Egypt are even afraid to talk to him, and he says he understands why because of the. I mean, he went on TV and mentioned this, so some people might criticize him for that. But honestly, if you don't have people like this, then you're not going to bring awareness to situations like this. We have to have each other's backs when the whole society turns against you. I mean, he's I really feel bad for this guy, um, but this is
He's such an amazing person. Like I've had the privilege of speaking with him privately a few times. He is such an amazing person that I really do. I mean, what he wants to do once he gets asylum in another country is start working on helping people
yeah.
in Egypt and helping to change the situation. But he has to do it from a location where he can be safe. And he is just such an incredible man. He really is.
Just to be clear, though, I was hesitant sharing this link because we weren't sure because we get a lot of scams sometimes. I wasn't sure if this is approved by him or not, or the accounts that are saying this is approved was by him or fake accounts. But you talked to him and you know that
Yes,
this.
that's
Okay.
correct.
Okay. All
Yes.
right. So let's just be careful. But if it is the and I got another person also mentioned to me that he talked to him directly, and this is a verified GoFundMe account. It's not like a scam or anything. So we did before share. We didn't just take the link and share it. We did try to verify it as much as possible before sharing it. I also this is once the YouTube version of this comes out, we'll put the link to in the description as well, and the podcast as well. Anyways, let's get to the first news.
Yes, so Mauritania has passed a law mandating the death penalty for blasphemy. And for those of you who don't know where that's at, where Mauritania is, it's in West Africa,
Mm.
south of Morocco. And so it's an Islamic country, and they've always had, some sort of blasphemy law there, but they've allowed prison sentences and things of that nature for blasphemy. Now they've passed a law saying that if you commit blasphemy or any act that's deemed sacrilegious, it's mandatory that that person gets the death penalty. So,
So like you can't get away. Like they're trying to make it so that you can't get away from the death penalty. Like there's no arguing out of it. There's
that's right.
right. You can get in trouble if you actually don't pass the death penalty, like any court or right.
Right, yeah, like if any judge here on out tries to say, "Oh, this person can spend life in prison for their blasphemous act," then the judge can get in trouble because the judge is breaking the law. I mean, they have made it mandatory that anyone who commits a blasphemous or sacrilegious act, or
And
who
who?
says
What's
anything
the
that's
definition of a blasphemous act?
well, that's the problem is that's so
Oh my
subjective, right?
god.
I mean, a blasphemous act, is that checking out a woman if you're married?
No, 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 no,
Um,
no, 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 no. Blasphemous doesn't mean sin.
I'm sorry, not blasphemous,
Uh,
sacrilegious.
yeah, but no,
I mean,
blasphemous means like the target has to be a whole like God or a holy
but what about
figure.
sacrilegious? Isn't that something that's deemed? Oh, actually, no, I'm sorry. They
Mm.
actually have a law in here for other things that go against the law of Islam. You can still get like a 2-year sentence
Right,
and a
but
fine for.
but the death penalty specifically, for example, if you say, "Oh, the Quran is not the word of God," or
Yeah,
"Fuck
yeah.
Muhammad," or
What is
Muhammad.
a sacrilegious act, though? What do you think they would consider a sacrilegious act? Burning the Quran, maybe?
Um, I no, I don't know, but I know blasphemy is not the same as any kind of sin, right?
Yeah.
Because then you could get a death penalty for just lying to somebody. But no,
Which technically, if lying to somebody goes against Islam or
no,
against Islamic teachings,
that's not blasphemous.
right, it's not blasphemous, but what their laws are is if you do something that's against Islamic teachings, you can still get
But sacrilege,
jail time.
I don't think sacrilege means any kind of sin. But anyways, let's focus on the blasphemy part of this because that's the main story, right? I mean,
Yeah,
it seems like they're going backwards. Like I said, like a lot of people think like the world, I mean, it's getting less religious because of where the experience where they are, and it's true for many places. But a lot of Islamic countries are going backwards, right?
right.
Uh, and I mean, this is an Islamic country. When they say blasphemous, are they talking about just Islamic blasphemy or any kind of blasphemy?
Yeah,
Like,
it seems to me, according to their law, that's labeled out here that it's probably just for Islamic blasphemy.
right. So, I mean, they're
Offending public indecency and Islamic values. That's their exact wording.
for blasphemy.
And not for blasphemy, but
Oh,
just included in this law is anything that offends
right.
public decency.
But the death penalty of the part of the law is just for blasphemy, correct? Or no?
Correct.
Right.
Yeah, death penalty is just, oh, it's for blasphemy and for sacrilegious acts.
Maybe like pissing on a Quran or something.
Maybe. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, something like that.
Right. Which actually I just made that up. People should do that. Send it to me.
Not in Mauritania, though, please. Don't do
Not
it
it, no,
there.
please don't do it if you're there. I mean, if you're there, just make sure you hide your faces. Send it to me, and I'll post it on my Twitter. People get. I've been posting videos of people like people send me videos on WhatsApp of from Iran burning the Quran, and I posted for them. I've been getting a lot of shit for that, right?
Oh, I've been following that. It's been really awesome that you've been doing that. I think that you're giving a voice to all these people that wouldn't otherwise have one on your platform. So
See,
I think that it's
these kind
great.
of things need to backfire. Like I think there needs to be a public campaign pissing on the Quran. Uh, Actually, that's even more environmental instead of burning the Quran, right?
Yeah.
Less CO2. Um, so how do you pronounce this?
Mauritania.
Mauritania. All right, pissing on the Quran for Mauritania. So like these kind of things need to backfire so people stop doing this. You know how like when they said like you can't draw Muhammad and a lot of Muslims lost their shit. Then we had like an annual Dry Muhammad Day, right? And now,
Right.
no, now I feel like most Muslims have become desensitized to drawing Muhammad, right? Like they
Right.
used to be like very dangerous to draw Muhammad. Now it's like, meh, right? So we need to do that with the Quran as well. And I think like people that burn the Quran or do some other things with the Quran, I think that they're helping. If it becomes a norm, they're helping desensitize the masses. And there was this Iranian girl that she posted on Twitter. She like a lot of people is like, what's the point of this? Like, well, the point is that they're telling us we can't do it, or there's a death penalty. So we try to make sure that when they say there's a death penalty for this, it backfires on them so that these things don't work. Right? That's why you burn the Quran. Um, and it worked perfectly with the Dry Muhammad Day annual Dry Muhammad Day event, and I think it works as well. And she in her tweet was mentioning that if a lot of Muslims become desensitized to videos of the Quran being burned or or other stuff, then it becomes even easier in the future because it removes the Quran from the pedestal. That if they become desensitized to that, then when you criticize it, if you say Quran is bullshit, that's even that is going to become easier, because if people have burned it and you become desensitized to that, then if somebody says, well, this is bullshit, even if you disagree with them, it doesn't have that you're not going to have the emotional reaction that you used to. You know what I mean? So it's going to become easier to criticize it because you've been already used to people doing all sorts of shit with it, right?
Right.
So I think there needs to be a public reaction to this death penalty. But hey, I don't know if people can tell me if this is the global trend in every Islamic country. It seems like every Islamic country is going backwards. Malaysia
Well,
is going
Moose
back.
Girl has a question for you. She wants to know if Iran has any blasphemy laws.
Yeah, yeah. This country, Mauritania, is that right?
Yeah,
Okay.
Mauritania.
Mauritania is catching up with Iran. In Iran, okay, let me tell you how bad it is in Iran. And again, a lot of people in Iran that live in their own liberal circles and bubbles in Upper Tehran or the liberal part of Shiraz, they will talk shit about the Quran in their own private communities and laugh at the mullahs and stuff, and they won't get in trouble because they're not saying it publicly. And then when they come here and like, oh no, it's fine over there, we're like, oh really? Try saying that publicly, or try to put it in a book and publish it, and you will get the death penalty. Like just what year was it? It was 2004. I forgot what year was it. But there was this teacher in Iran. He didn't even say anything of like that would be considered offensive by most Muslims. He said, what was that prophet that got swallowed by a fish or a whale? Jonah? Prophet
Jonah, yeah.
Jonah, right? He says that he doesn't really think Jonah was swallowed by a fish. Okay? A giant. Okay, I think in the Quran it's giant fish, but in the Bible it is whale.
It was a whale.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, one of them it's a mammal, the other one is a fish. But he said it's a teacher. He told to the class that I don't think that happened. And guess what? He's dead now. He got executed by the government. Okay, his son is 5 years old right now. Right. So yeah, there are blasphemy laws in Iran. If I go back to Iran right now, I will be hanged. For sure.
That's terrible.
Yeah. So when there was another guy that is on death row because he liked a post that was making fun of Islam, and he's on death row. Another guy, what is his name? Arabi. His last name is Arabi, but he's not Arab. He is on death row because he said some things about Mohamed. So yeah, these are blasphemy laws. And a lot of these high-profile ones we know about, but there's a lot of them we don't know about because they all get categorized under spreading corruption on earth or waging war against God. These are the category. These are labels specifically chosen from the Quran, and they won't specify exactly what they did, and it just gets categorized as that. And so we don't have the specific numbers on how many of it was blasphemy laws, how many of it was something else. I think the accurate numbers that only exist is people that get the death sentence for drug-related charges in Europe. But congratulations to Mauritania. Again, what is it, Ali?
Mauritania.
Mauritania.
Okay.
Congratulations for catching up with Iran and Saudi Arabia on your dark age laws. I hope it backfires.
Well, here's a real kicker and something that everyone should be outrageously angry about. There's a blogger in Mauritania who his name is Mohamed Sheikh Old Matar, and I'm sure I butchered that name, and I'm sorry. But this blogger was being held, but this is before this new law passed. He was being convicted of apostasy and sentenced to death in December
Apostasy.
2014.
Uh,
Thank you. In
mhm.
December 2014, and whenever they reversed the judgment on that case, they've been detaining him ever since. So even though I don't know, it's a mess. I don't understand. They've reversed their punishment on him. He had already spent 2 years in prison at the time that they did that, and yet they still have him imprisoned. So they're just not going to let him go. That's really scary, I think, that
But
now that
I
this
mean,
new law
is
is
it what
passed.
kind of government do they have? Is it like a fake democracy or what was the pressure? Like, who was pressuring these fuckers to go like this? I mean, I don't know much about this country.
I don't know
A whole.
either.
Let me see. The top comment on Facebook is saying, "A whole new level of stupid in this day and age. Do these people even realize they are sentencing people to death for no other reason than tales in a book with no evidence? Makes no sense at all." Yeah, I mean, Islam is blasphemy according to Christianity, so I don't know. Emily, also on the Facebook um, comments, is saying blasphemy laws is it's like admitting your God can't do dick to defend itself, so it needs its human followers to take care of things, and not much of a God. Yeah, I mean, exactly. And another Chris is saying, well, that's another one for the holiday list. Oh, off the holiday list. Well,
Yeah, people shouldn't be traveling there if you criticize Islam.
I think there should be like a piss on the Quran campaign every time something like this happens. So be like, hey, you wanted to reduce blasphemy. Now there's a global reaction, blasphemy reaction to this, right? Like people are like, this is my gift to Mauritania, Mauritania, right? In fact, this country should be just known. I don't know. Did people in the live chat know about this country? I just learned about this country right today. I think that should be what they're associated with. You just and people should just be sending videos as a gift to the government. Here's another like hundreds of piss on a Quran videos.
That'd be amazing,
Yeah,
right? Send it straight to the government.
here's my gift. Right. Oh my god, I
So
can't.
someone in Facebook chat wanted to know, I don't I actually shouldn't ask this question. I'm curious as to what they are doing now about blasphemy laws and where or what countries use them. Well, at least in this instance, we've got the IHEU working on it. So they're working to forcing the government to reverse this law, although I don't think putting pressure
Is
on this government is actually going to do anything
But I'm
in
really
this
impressed with
case.
is IHU the main human rights organization that gives a shit about atheists? Because I feel like
They're incredible. I just love them. If I can say
it's like
that.
they're always every time atheists are in trouble. Like, okay, who's the human rights organization that is like supporting us? It's like IHU. Like, oh wow,
Exactly.
right.
They're always
They're
there.
always there for
Always.
us. Like, I think we should like thank you guys. There's almost nobody else that gives a
Definitely.
shit about atheists. Yeah. But also Beach gave me an advice on how to remember the country's name. I think Maury and Tanya. Right,
Oh, there you go.
Maury and Tanya.
Good job, Beej.
Maury and Tanya. Thank you. All right. All right. So should we go to the next news? What
Yeah,
was the
let's
name
do
of
it.
the guy that is in prison in Maury and
Um,
Tanya?
yeah, the name of the guy that's in prison is Mohamed
Mm.
Sheikh Old Mahatir.
And what did he do?
He was a blogger.
Poor bloggers. And
Yeah.
he's in his sentence was reversed, but he's still in prison for no reason.
That's right. Yes,
Mm.
absolutely. So he was sentenced to death. Um, and then
This
they
was
reduced
before
his.
this was before these new laws, right?
That's correct. Yes, and
So with these
even though
new
his sentence. Uh-huh.
with these new laws, he would not the sentence would not be reversed.
Right.
Right. Okay.
They would not be able to reverse now that, but the problem is here, he was detained in 2014, right? And so his death penalty was commuted to 2 years in prison. Well, he served his 2 years in prison.
But they
And
just
even though that time is 2 years past when he should have
So-
been released, he's
so-
still being detained.
So he got sentenced for 2 years. It's been 4 years now, right?
Yep.
And he's still there.
Yep.
So just laws are just made up. Like they can do whatever they want, even though like the laws are just for show.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. All right. Well, I mean, this fucking fucked up country, guys. Fix it. Fix it. Fix your
Yeah.
country. Anyways, next.
Next bit of news is a Catholic social worker who wouldn't counsel gay couples sues after getting fired. This woman, Kathleen Lawrenson.
Why are you
was a social worker-
discriminating against me? Discriminating people. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Kathleen Lawrenson was a social worker in Michigan. Okay.
Right.
And she worked for Health Source Synagogue. That was the name of the company that she worked for, where they provided counseling to just about anybody in their area. Well, she was assigned to work with a gay couple who wanted to work on their marriage, and she wouldn't do it. Right. So she went through like the first counseling session with them, and then told her supervisor she needed to change to something else. He needed to reassign her case to somebody else. Supervisor says, "Why? You're a counselor. Freaking counsel these people." And she says, "Well, I'm Catholic, and it's against my belief that two men should be married." And he allegedly told her that you're a social worker first and a Catholic second. I don't know if he actually told her that or not. That's her claim. So she was supposed to go on and counsel these guys, but she couldn't do it due to her beliefs. So she was fired because she couldn't perform her job, and they fired her. And now she's suing because she's saying that her refusal to work with gay clients was discriminatory against her beliefs.
Okay.
Yeah, and here we are.
All right. Well,
I mean, how do you feel about that? If you can't do your job,
yeah, I
shouldn't
mean,
you get fired?
Isn't that like, yeah, you should get fired, and isn't that like discrimination laws against you doing this, like not serving people for their sexual orientation?
Well, I think it's funny that she is suing for being discriminated against when she was discriminating gay people.
I mean, is there first? What's the? This is in the U.S., right?
This was, yes, in
So
Michigan.
aren't there laws against? Not. I mean, actually, we don't know.
No. Yeah, unfortunately.
Oh, we
it's
have
kind of
that.
weird.
We haven't. This is. Wait. The people that were suing the cake bakers for not having. Did they win? What happened to that?
Well,
They
there are
took it-
so many of those cases, Armin, and it's typically up to the state. To
No, but didn't
determine-
that take that? Didn't they take it to the Supreme Court and they won? I thought. I
Well,
don't
and
know.
then there was another case where the bakers won. So
Oh.
I don't.
I mean, this
it-
lady that
yeah.
she's suing is a lady, right? The council.
Yeah, it's a lady.
So
Kathleen Lawrenson.
So she, what does she think is gonna happen? Like, did she hire a lawyer? Did the lawyer not tell her that this is not gonna win? Like,
I think that any lawyer will take a case like this, even if
yeah,
they
like,
know
just
it's
give me
not
your
going to
money.
win.
Like, I don't care.
Right? I just, these kind of things really piss me off. I understand not wanting to do a gay cake for a wedding. I do. I understand not wanting to do it. But at the end of the day, you're a fucking baker and you bake
here's the
wedding
thing.
cakes.
If you have
And so it shouldn't matter.
No, I mean, if it's in your okay, so here's something that people might disagree with me. All right, if it's your own fucking shop, right? Then fuck it. You're like, fuck you for not making cakes for gay people. I'll go to the next store. Well, fuck
Sure.
you, right? Like, it's your own fucking small little shop. I don't care, right? But if your shop, if your bakery is part of another bigger organization, and then you were like, well, I'm not gonna make a cake for gay people, then you get fired. Well, it's not your fucking company anymore, right? Like they're like,
Right.
no, in our company we do make cake for gay weddings, right? So
Hmm.
if you're not gonna make them, well, get the fuck out of here. Then you have no right to complain, right? This is our company, right? We this is what we do. We I don't know. What do you think?
Casey says that they haven't ruled on the case yet in the Supreme
Right,
Court. So
right.
I did want to answer that question there. But here this is where people just needed help. And if she wasn't she wasn't advocating for gay marriage by helping two individuals work on a relationship. That is what counselors fucking do. And I guess you could look at any small practice as kind of the same thing as some small shop. If this person won't work with you, move on to the next person. But I think that if you get to a point where, you open yourself up to being someone who is a counselor and you say, I'm here for you to help you through your problems, I think that you should be able to help people through their problems. I think you should be mature enough to put aside your personal beliefs. If she doesn't like gay marriage, she doesn't have to get gay married.
No, okay, okay, but
And
here's the thing: I think the moral side of it, we all are on the same page, right? But whether what she can do legally or not, I think Casey Atheist is mentioning this summer they're gonna rule on that bakery situation. I think that's gonna affect all of these because
But it's
you.
still going to depend on the state. Yeah,
No, no,
it
no,
still
no. It's the
is.
Supreme Court. It's not going to depend on the state. It's going to, and UA Nimhanian is saying that uh, Armin, if your business serves the general public, you cannot discriminate. That's Civil Rights Act. But I think that what the Supreme Court is deciding on is whether sexual orientation is would be one of those things that is protected.
Yeah, because
Okay.
they're trying to pull this under their Freedom of Religion Act. This is my belief, so I should be able to act on my belief.
Right. No, no,
So
no,
that's
no, no,
that's
no,
why this
no,
is.
no, no. I think no. I don't think that's the situation because people like if you, for example, if you say I'm not going to serve black people, right? That doesn't depend on the state or anything. That as the UA can't pronounce your last name is mentioning, it's a federal civil rights law. It overrides the states, right? So that's already covered, right? No matter what fucking state you are in the United States, if you say we don't serve black people here or we don't say serve Jews here, you're like you're going to be in trouble, right? But
Right.
if you say I'm not going to serve you because I'm not going to make you a cake because you're gay. I think that's what I'm not sure. People correct me if I'm wrong. That's what is being decided on if that's covered or not.
Right, but what I'm saying is the right that the people who are refusing to make the cake because they're gay are using is their freedom of religion. They have the right
Yeah, but
to.
I'm just saying that doesn't fly for anything else, right? If you say
No, no, it
serve
doesn't.
I don't serve Jews because of my religion, right? That doesn't like they're like no fuck you, um,
Right.
but
Exactly. I
but
think we're on the same page there. But
yeah,
these people are trying to say it's their religious right to
right.
refuse gays, and it's specifically gays because it's the
So,
whole
but
gays are in the Bible thing.
how do you feel about like, let's say like I'm a graphic arts designer, right? And I'm an atheist, right? And I have a
Hmm.
website, and then somebody comes submits an order, and they pay with their credit card, and I open the order, and like, oh, it's for a church poster as a,
Oh,
it's a
Armin, I'm an artist, right? You know that I
right.
take commissions by people.
You
I
do.
have done two commissions for churches. Can you
What
imagine?
you
Can you
have?
imagine if I
Why?
declined them because they were religious and I was atheist? Can you imagine
But
that?
isn't
I
that
took their money and I did the job because I wanted money and I'm an artist.
okay?
So it's what I did.
Okay, okay, but what if you didn't want to? Is that bad? Is like if it's like I don't want to make I don't want to make a poster for a fucking church because I don't believe in that, right? Would that
I,
be a
I feel I feel like I offered my services out there, and the way that I have everything worded in my contracts, I would be able to decline anyone for any reason.
no? But your
But
contract, okay, but okay, even if your contract says that, right? If somebody finds that the reason was that they're black, your contract doesn't mean shit
oh,
anymore,
absolutely,
right?
absolutely,
S-
you're 100% right on that, and
Right.
that's why I don't take anything personal. The only things that I will take into
So
consideration
what if
with
somebody came
declining.
out and give you a Nazi poster for their whites or like a white power rally? Would you take their money and make a white power rally poster?
Would I be breaking the law? No.
No, it's just a
I would
protest.
not. So I would take it. The only reason
You
why
would?
I would
Oh,
decline somebody.
you will make. Wait, Allie, you will make white power posters.
I will make it if someone came to me and was like, "I hate white people. I want you to help me make something for it."
No,
I hate
no.
whatever. I will make it.
So you will take people's money and you will make white power posters for
I
them?
don't. I would make black power posters. I would make whatever it is. The only thing I take into consideration.
Changing it. You said white power posters. You would make.
I'm saying I would make those. I would
Oh
make
my
any
God.
of them. The only thing that I would decline on is if they wouldn't pay me in advance for the materials that I need, and if it wouldn't be worth my time, meaning that they're not going to pay me per hour that I need to get a project done, and if they don't agree with my quoted amount of time and they want to pay me like half the amount, then no, I will reject that. That is the only thing that I will actually reject.
Okay.
So religious, please, all you religious people come to me.
Okay. So you would do that, but if somebody doesn't want to do that, somebody would like, I'm not making no white power posters for your fucking rally. Okay. Should that be legal?
I think that should. I think that it should be legal for them to decline based on that.
To decline based on
based on spreading hate. I mean, they're going to be using your stuff. People are going to be using my stuff to spread hate. People are using my stuff right now to spread.
No, you're saying so.
Child abuse.
Okay, so you see, no. Okay, let me clarify. Let me make sure if I'm getting you right. Okay, so if I say, like, okay, I'm not gonna make Nazi posters for this rally, that I should get in trouble for not making those posters.
If you're not breaking the law, I think, and if you haven't
me or them.
If you doing work for them isn't breaking the law, right? And if you doing work for them wasn't laid out in some sort of mission statement or something like that you already pre-held. And I understand how that can be a slippery slope, right? Because someone can also put out there saying that my mission statement includes Christian values, so I don't want to bake a cake for gay people. But bottom line is, if you're a business, you're out to make money. You're out to offer a service to people.
No, we're not talking about what's right, but I'm talking about what the laws should be, okay?
Yeah.
And UA is mentioning, Armin, to get around the civil rights, you can just say that you're booked up. I understand that, but I'm just saying the laws, if we're talking about laws, does that mean that the businesses should provide services to anybody as long as it's legal, as long as they can't use their values to be like, no? I
don't think that people should be able to use their values to say no unless it is spreading hatred. Inciting hatred in others.
No, you can't say that because then who's going to define? I mean, we're inciting hatred towards Islam. Okay.
True, we are. Yeah, I mean, so if you want to look at it that way, no, I don't think that anyone should be able to decline customers based on what they're going to be using your product for. So if someone wants to come to me and say, "Hey, I'm a white nationalist and I want this," and they lay it out for me and they're willing to pay me, I think that I should have to take it regardless.
You should be legally required to make white power posters. That's what you're saying.
I think so.
Okay.
What do you think?
I don't want the government to be telling me what to make with my small business. I don't know. I mean, I don't think I should be. I mean, there's a difference between what's right and wrong, and then there's a difference between the government acting like a fucking nanny and telling me like, I'm gonna watch you make these because you have to. like you make them.
Exactly. I mean, it sucks, right? I totally agree with you. And personally speaking, I would have a hard time with it.
What else are gonna like? If we decide that adultery, cheating on your wife or husband is wrong, are we gonna get the government telling us we're gonna make cheating on your spouse illegal? Like, you know what I mean? I don't think
it used to be in the United States. Actually,
well, that's ridiculous. I think. I don't think that they should do. At some point, we should be social consequences should be enough. I mean, if it okay, so when it was with, I think when it was with segregation and black people, the situation was so fucked up that the government had to get involved, right? That's when we had the civil rights, right? Because the people were not mature enough to be like, I mean, you had different fountains, you sit at the back of the bus. I was like, what these people are so, you can't let the people be free because the government needs to come and act like an adult and get involved, right? But I think once the society hits a certain level of maturity, and again, that doesn't mean that homophobia doesn't exist, that racism doesn't exist. These things are still way too much of them. But at some point, I think the government should be like, social consequences should be enough. I mean, sooner rather than later, I would rather get the government out of these things. But again, when that line is, I don't know. Let's see what the comments on the Facebook are. William, like for example, I think like if a baker is not serving cake to gay people, we could have like shame them, go on Yelp and like destroy their Yelp reviews, and stuff like that. Not like go to prison for that. I don't know. Or anyways,
Yeah.
William. Would this social worker counsel couples who had counsel couples who had divorced and married someone else? Would they counsel couples in which the wife was not a virgin when she got married? Oh, that's good.
Very
That's
good point.
Yeah, very good point, because these are not non-Christian as well. Anything in any of the 2 live chats that we need to read?
Not in Facebook. Ace is saying that a Nazi poster is not protected. Declining based on viewpoint and person is not the same. And I do agree with Ace on that. That declining on a
Right.
viewpoint versus declining on people and what makes the person, such as, color of skin or sexual orientation.
Yeah, but you're not.
different.
But what makes a Nazi a Nazi? That's a person.
Their belief. Totally
Right.
their belief.
But I mean, their upbringing and their genetics might have something to do with their belief. But yeah, I get
They
the
might.
point. Yeah.
But yeah, you see the
Okay,
point he's making. I agree.
yeah, I see their point. So Jews then, should you, or Muslims? Okay, so to that person, should you be able to not serve a Muslim?
Heck no. You
No,
should.
yeah, I know
definitely be
what
able
your
to.
view. I know your view, Ali. But I'm just saying that person that says that, because that person is arguing that it's
You're absolutely right. No,
that
it
person.
just
Wait,
clicked
let
in my
me
head.
clarify it, because that person is arguing that serving somebody because they're not serving somebody because they're black or gay is like based on biology, right? So that should
Right.
never be accepted. But me not serving somebody that is a Nazi is based on their beliefs and based on your values, and that's different. And then we're like, okay, if it's based on values and beliefs, then should I be able to not serve a Muslim?
Right. I see what you're saying. That's
Right?
absolutely a very good point. And then, I mean, I guess that's why, I do what I do. Yeah, I've done things for churches. I've done things. My beliefs have nothing to do with it, right? Like if I'm offering a service to people and people want to pay for my service, I'm going to provide them with what they pay me to do. Um, I don't believe in discriminating based on my personal beliefs. It's not going to be mine after I give it to them. It's for them. And I think I wish more people would see things that way. Maybe I'm wrong. And if I'm wrong, then somebody please correct me.
Right. And somebody is trying to is mentioning that they want to contact me. I already have a contact page. Go find and use it. Just if you search for Armin Navobi, it's going to show up. I don't know how fast I could respond to things. I get 200 emails a day.
Yeah.
Moose is saying, Armin, what one feels about religion shouldn't matter with any business transactions. I'm in the U.S. Yeah, but should and what's legal are two different questions, right? So when you're saying should, Moose, are you talking about are you making a moral judgment, or are you talking about what the laws should be? UA is saying Armin exactly, and that is exactly the door the religion will open if they insist that beliefs merit discrimination. Yeah, that's a good point. Casey trying hard to trying hard to elevate beliefs. Yeah, the belief is irrelevant. Yeah, I mean morally, I think I wouldn't discriminate against people based on their values, right? Like if you're a Muslim or you're a Christian, or even if you're a fucking Nazi or something like that, right? I wouldn't, unless the poster that I'm making goes into something that I don't like. If it's my tiny little, personal business, I think I should be able to decide, right? I mean, maybe I'm not being professional, but it's my business, right? It's my tiny shop, right?
I mean, every time I see these people do this, I think, how lucky are these people to just turn away money?
Right. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I mean, maybe I'm well off. Maybe my business is making enough money. If my business is part of a bigger corporation, if I don't do what they wanted me to do, then they have a right to fire me. But it's the same as being like somebody coming and telling me to like draw a painting of trees, and I'd be like, I do mountains. I mean, I could do trees, but I don't enjoy doing trees. I like to enjoy my work. So sorry, I don't do trees. I mean, it's my painting shop. If I want to enjoy my work, I should be able to get to say what I like doing and what I don't like doing, right? I don't know. Maybe it's not professional, but I don't have to be professional. It's my small little store. If you can tell us which. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm sitting here listening to this, and I'm like, I paint stuff all the time. I hate painting, and I don't want to paint, but I do it to make money. So I don't know if there's any artist out there that gets to do that. I feel like, I mean, the bakers that get to say no, I don't want your money because my beliefs are more important. I mean, I just envy them, I guess. I don't know.
I think the main message that we get out of this is Allie needs to get more gigs. So reach out to Allie. She's an artist. She will take your money no matter what you
No matter, you want me to paint a naked grandma, I will paint her.
Naked grandma with a doing a Nazi salute. She will take your money.
I will do it all.
All right. Okay, so next story. This looks
next story is a mosque attack is a hallmark of Islamic State. This was actually an article given to us by Sunshine, who I don't see here tonight. But there was an attack on a Shia mosque in Ottawa, in South Africa.
Left as a comment on our previous video?
It sure was, yes.
Okay, so just a reminder to people, if you want to suggest news for us to cover for next week, do it what Sunshine Savannah, right? She did.
Yes.
So go on the last week's YouTube news.
It's going to be this one.
Yeah, it's going to be this one. So basically, when this gets released on YouTube, the non-live version of it, just go to the comment section and tell us what news to cover next week, and we'll take your suggestion. And your comments actually help us with the video get more exposure as well, because like YouTube's algorithm like check out which videos are getting more comments, and they're like, okay, this video is engaging. We need to show it to more people. So leave us a comment with your news suggestions. We'll consider covering it next week, and it helps us as well. All right, go. Sorry.
No, that's fine. So there was an attack on a Shia mosque in Ottawa. This is in South Africa. And this was just so crazy. So there were 3 men in Muslim attire that arrived at the mosque right after the prayers ended, and they attacked 2 clergymen. And a neighbor saw these men show up and started attacking everyone, so he went in to stop them and intervene, but they ended up killing him. And the way they were attacking people was with knives, and they slit the neighbor's throat.
The neighbor to the mosque?
Yeah, the neighbor to the mosque. And then they started burning down the mosque.
Were these Sunni extremists or anti-Muslim extremists?
Well, they're saying that as they were burning down the mosque, they claimed to be Muslims. that were doing it, but in burning down the mosque, they were also burning the Quran, and they said that, Muslims wouldn't do that. So
Oh,
they're
they
saying
would.
that
They
with
do
the
that all the time. Who said the Muslims wouldn't do that?
this is the people that were
Oh,
hater. Yeah.
the people that wanted to say, "Oh, this is not a Muslim act." They say Muslims would never burn the Quran. Have they what? Do these people not watch the news? Muslims at like Muslims attack other Muslims' mosques all the time, and they burn out their mosques. Sunnis attack Shias. Shias attack Sunnis. And there's a whole bunch of Quran burning that is happening in the meanwhile that everybody is ignoring. As soon as the non-Muslims burn a Quran, they lose their shit. But when Muslims are burning other Muslims' Qurans, nobody seems to notice. But go on, sorry.
No, that's okay. So they proceeded to burn down the mosque, and the people who were around said that since they killed people by slitting their throats, it's a hallmark of ISIS, and so they're saying that ISIS is directly involved in
How
this
many hallmarks
attack.
does ISIS have? I thought it was truck.
I I have
Like,
no idea.
okay. All right, go.
Anything that's non-Islamic, Armin, you should know this. No.
Mm.
So, anyways, it's still being investigated. It looks like, but yeah,
Right.
it's just terrible. South Africa.
Did they shout anything like Allah Akbar or anything like that?
It wasn't reported if they did.
Right. Well, it could be anybody. It could be Muslim. It could be non-Muslim.
It could be,
We don't know.
right?
If it's
Yeah.
Muslim, if it's a Muslim attack on a Shia mosque, my prediction would be a Sunni group that
Yeah.
hate the Shias. Where if it's a Shia mosque, that's the most number one thing that comes to my mind, right?
Right.
Because I don't think the non-Muslim, anti-Muslim extremists care about Shia Sunni, right? So the fact that they specifically went to a Shia mosque is suspicious, right? Are in Muslims in South Africa, are they mostly Shia or Sunni?
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't know. I wish Savannah Sunshine were here so we could ask.
Right.
So
Islam
that's a
being
good question.
B just saying Islam being Islamophobic against itself. Yeah, actually, Islam is Islamophobic against all other Islamic practices. Yeah, I mean, Shias hate Sunnis more than they hate anyone else, and Sunnis hate Shias more than they hate anyone else. I mean, Sunnis think, and not again, hashtag not all. Fuck, I have to always say that. But according to Sunnis, Shias are the fucking worst. Many Sunnis consider Shias the worst because it's like corrupt version of Islam. To corrupt Islam is worse than just not even being as Muslim, right? And the greatest sin in Islam is shirk, which is having a partner to God. And Sunnis think Shias do that because they consider Ali, Hassan, Hussein, and all these imams holy. And Sunnis are like, what the fuck? Only God is holy. So this is shirk. And Shias are not Muslim. And they're the worst. The worst than the Jews, the worst than the Christians, they're worse than the atheists.
You are saying that South Africa is mostly Sunni.
Right.
Yeah.
So that makes it suspicious that this was a Shia mosque that was covered.
Yeah.
Which country the person is? Yeah. By the way, when we say mostly Sunni, we know that South Africa is not mostly Sunni. We're talking about Muslims in South Africa, right? So somebody might think like we're saying South Africa is an Islamic country.
Oh, right. Yeah.
All right. So let me see. Anything on Facebook that we need to read?
Just a Christian that came in saying that she's not here to judge or condemn us, and a long line of stuff about reaching out to Jesus Christ and letting him in, blah, blah, blah. Aside from that, no, not really.
Okay.
Everyone is kind of talking about that right now.
Jesus Christ, that always sounds some.
Let Jesus in your heart, Armin. Why won't you do it?
I always think like whenever it says "let Jesus inside you," like phrasing. Yeah, always doesn't sound right. Okay.
It doesn't.
All right. I mean, that would be a cool religion, though. Like,
I'd be a part of it. No, I wouldn't. If Jesus were a girl,
n- no, if that's how you know that Jesus, every time Jesus reveals himself to somebody, you will just have like he will just show up and he will just like rape you, and then that's how you know he's real. Like I'm pretty sure he's real. I felt it, right? We should make it. We should make a religion out of it.
that we should.
Okay, Pakistani woman.
Yes, so Pakistani women are leading against gender norms right now by taking to the streets on pink motorcycles. As a lot of people know, transportation and the ability to get yourself around, having your own mobility, kind of depends a lot on your economic status, right? Like if you want a job, you need to be able to get yourself to and from the job. So women in Pakistan are getting together on pink bikes. Pink helmets. It's part of the Women on Wheels initiative, where they are teaching women to, get themselves around on a motorcycle. I think it's pretty cool. They're getting out there in major cities. Um, these motorcycle rallies are going on. All these women are getting together and empowering each other and, giving each other the encouragement they need to become economically independent. And I think it's really cool that women are doing this in Pakistan.
Right. Yeah, it's very cool. And if I was a modern feminist, I mean, I think I'm a classical feminist. But if I was a modern feminist, I would be saying you can't find gender norms by wearing pink helmets. Uh, but that would be missing the point because
Right.
what they're doing is more important than color choices, right? The
Exactly.
mobility and having the right to go around where you want.
Well,
Um,
and we covered in the news, was it last week or possibly the week before, where they found almost 400 babies in dumpsters around Pakistan, and
oof.
99% of them are
Yeah.
girls. Well, this right here is, getting women empowered to become economically independent.
Right.
These are ways that will help throw the problems that they're having there. If they're poor because they're relying on one income or
Mm.
something like that, letting women get to work and empower themselves through their own mobility, this is a way to kind of solve those problems. So I think that, this is much bigger than just a simple rally. This is
Right.
actually possibly going to help a lot of issues that are going on over there.
Right. And if I was like some another group of people might look at these women as like the picture shows half of them at least wearing a hijab, right? And we're like, oh,
Right.
why are you still wearing the hijab then? And again, that's missing the
That's
positive
missing
side.
the point,
Yeah, I
right?
mean,
Yeah.
again, we never support the hijab. We support the right to wear the hijab, but not the hijab itself, right? And what the hijab represents. But again, this is a separate thing that we're celebrating here, right? I mean,
Right.
just because you disagree with somebody on something doesn't mean that you can't congratulate them on their moving forward with something else, right? Um, Let me see some comments. Now take off. Oh, see the first comment, Terry.
Take off those
That was hijab.
hijabs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, what I tell people is like, we, you could, you could support people while standing against some of their position at the same time, right? You don't have, if you have to 100% agree with somebody to support some of the things they're fighting for, you will probably not find any person to support, right? And I'm sure even people that you think that you 100% agree with, if you keep digging, you're gonna find something that you support that is gonna shock you, and you're gonna think like you're gonna get disappointed. But you can't let those things get in the way in supporting them in things that you value, right? I mean, you can. I mean, if there's many hijabi women in the world that are fighting for women's rights that need our support, right? Are we just gonna be like, oh, you're wearing a hijab, so take that off before I take you seriously? No, fuck that, right? They're doing
Right.
they're doing such great work, and they deserve the support, even if you disagree with what they're wearing. Um, you could voice your opinion about the hijab and what you think it represents, and at the same time support the great work that these people are doing. All right, should we go to anything about the last one that we need to cover in the live chat on Facebook or YouTube? No. Oh,
Beej brought up a little bit of news that we're going to be covering soon. So
right.
there's that. But not on Facebook.
Okay. Let's go to this one.
The next ones, our next two are going to be Ken Ham related. We want a
Two
little Ken Ham kick.
Okay.
I don't feel like we've poked at Ken Ham enough with all the silly things that he does.
Okay.
So everyone who might not be aware of Ken Ham, he is the guy behind Answers in Genesis, and a religious organization that also brought us the Creation Museum, or the Ark Encounter. It is a huge multi-million-dollar rebuild of Noah's Ark that is actually not historically accurate, nor was it made the same way the Bible says Noah made his ark, but it was a multi-million-dollar.
Is it bigger than what the Bible said, or smaller?
Bigger.
Oh, okay.
So anyways, he builds this huge ark, and he talks about it all the time on Twitter, right? Every single time I see Ken Ham, he's talking about his glorious ark, and he's talking about the thousands upon thousands upon thousands of people who are going to be showing up. And he said it again in a blog post recently, that thousands of people will be arriving over the spring, summer, and fall on tour buses from across the nation to see his ark. But, people have been really suspicious of this, because anytime we see footage, or anytime, I know that the Thinking Atheist, Seth Andrews, went to the Ark, and there have been some other prominent atheists who have gone to the Ark, and it's been practically empty.
I think it's only people that are interested in his Ark are atheists.
To be honest with you, I totally agree.
Nobody.
The time that Bill Nye went, it was pretty full, and I think that was obviously staged, because Ken Ham was also there with his news crews and things like that. So that is the only time that I've actually ever seen the Ark be completely full. And so Hemant Mehta kind of wrote about this using videos from the Creation Museum fans. So these are people who, support Ken Ham and support this Creation Museum. And even in their videos, one of them is on Easter, right? Where people should be celebrating creationism, I suppose. But it's always empty. It's almost like a ghost town in most of the videos that are taken from there. So, the reason why this is news, people might be asking, why would anyone want to talk about this? People want to talk about this because Ken Ham got just millions, I think it was like $18 million to build this thing, and he promised
from taxpayers.
Yes.
Yeah. So people are like, why are you giving this guy attention? This guy got $18 million worth of attention from your tax money, right? To build
exactly, and he's promised to give that money back from all the people that are going to be coming to the Ark, right? But it's speculated that he might even be lying about how many people are actually coming there, and if the Ark is even going to be able to maintain and stay alive much longer, because attendance doesn't seem to be big.
I think the fact that it took him so much money with modern technology to build this, and it doesn't even float, shows you how it shows you how impossible it is for Noah to have built this with no technology.
Exactly.
For a functioning ship.
Noah did it with some pulleys. Like, dude, you couldn't do it with some pulleys.
Yeah, you had cranes and everything, and you couldn't make.
Noah had 8 people, right? Like
he had just 8 people. And
I don't know.
yeah.
It's
And
maddening.
his arc doesn't even float. Like this is not even functional, right?
It's
So
non-functional,
so
completely
and
non-functional.
okay, yeah.
So yeah, I mean, if this thing goes down, so does all the money that he promised to give back to the people.
How did I still don't know how managed to get money for something religious.
I
Isn't
don't
this
either.
isn't
I
it,
thought that was unconstitutional what he
yeah.
did.
So let's build a Quran park like in Dubai. They're making a Quran park. The people should be able to get tax money for.
No, we should be able to make a Quran park here.
Yeah,
We
or Lucifer Park.
I want the state of Texas to give me money to build this stuff. Let's see
Right.
how well that'll work out for me. But yeah, I don't know.
Lucifer
I
Park.
think it's crazy.
Lucifer Park would be fun. I think it's like
That would be amazing.
yeah. All right. There should be like a seven deadly sins park, and there's every corner dedicated to a sin, right?
That would be so fun.
Yeah. I think everybody will just go to the lust part as soon as they get into it. Yeah.
Going straight to lust.
The fast pass for that is gonna go run out half an hour after. Yeah. But yeah, that's a great idea. Like seven deadly sins.
It really is.
Theme park. Every part of it is dedicated to a sin. All the restaurants will be in the gluttony part.
Yeah.
All right, let's go again. Ken Ham. Why
Yes,
is he on the
Ken
news
Ham.
twice?
I just felt that maybe we needed to talk about Ken Ham, and I also wanted to give some recognition to him at Meta, who does such great work. The Friendly Atheist. If you guys don't follow the Friendly Atheist, I feel that you really should. He does great work in our community.
By the way,
and
we give him a lot of traffic.
directly.
We give him a lot of traffic on Atheist Republic. We keep posting his
We
articles.
do, yeah. We do.
Right. So we get, but he deserves it because he does like his investigative work is like awesome.
It's incredible, right?
Yeah.
So that's why we're doing Ken Ham. We're doing Ken Ham to honor him at Meta, who is actually the topic of our next article. So the Friendly Atheist was targeted by Answers News, which is an Answers in Genesis, I guess, TV show, kind of a thing, kind of like what Armin and I do, only it's a little different. Avery Foley is their host, and she targeted the Friendly Atheist specifically on a show where Ken Ham was there, and they talk about an article that he wrote that revealed Yale University's research done, making a claim. Kind of that people who are religious tend to be a little more closed-minded, right? So immediately after Avery brings up him at Meta's news article, Ken Ham, first of all, says he is not a friendly atheist, right? Because he uses all sorts of swear words, and he starts like tearing down him at Meta personally, and then he says that everything about him is just fake news. He is fake news, is what he says. Direct quote. He is fake news, and they don't attack anything that him at Meta had to say about this, and I find that just so frustrating because
why is this frustrating? This is great. I mean, I want to be called fake news, but I can't. Isn't that like a badge of honor too? Like
it probably is. You're right. But I guess it's just that Ken Ham is like he's not friendly because he uses swear words. Fuck that.
He's not friendly
what is
to
wrong
me.
with this guy? And he's just like
feelings.
tearing down.
Right. Okay, go on.
Right? He's just tearing down him at Meta. He's just tearing him down as a person. He doesn't ever, nor does Avery, the host of the show. They don't ever stop to tell you why what he reported on was fake. They just attacked him and said that he was obviously evil, lying, whatever. He did specifically say that he was lying. And
that's the best kind of attack. I like it. I mean, I want that kind of attack. It's just like funny. And yeah, and it actually
let's keep reporting on the Ark Museum. I'm gonna do some investigative journalism of my own.
I mean, when people attack you and you look into it and it's just like baseless and you're just like, why would you get upset about that? You look at it and you laugh. And it actually brings you more traffic because people are like, oh,
Yeah.
let me go check that out. Well, who's this guy, right?
Right.
And this actually from the top comment from the last one that we didn't read, Mariana, Marina. Oddly enough, the story of Noah's Ark was one of the first things that made me start questioning religion. It just doesn't make sense. Nothing about it makes sense. Yeah, actually, yeah, that's one of the best things in the Bible to like look at for people. I mean, it's so fucking ridiculous that
No,
it's.
this story, I'm glad that it made her start questioning religion. That this was actually a momentous part of my Christian past was the story of Noah's Ark when I realized that the world was flooded. And when I asked what happened to all the people, she just said, my Sunday school teacher was like, you need to be a good girl. You just need to be a good girl. So I always thought if I was a bad girl, the world was going to get flooded or something bad was going to happen to me. It was horrifying as a child, coloring the beautiful rainbow and coloring the animals and seeing the happy smiling faces while everyone was in the water dying. Like that was terrifying to me.
Yeah. Yeah, actually, the kids book that they make about it, they don't draw all the corpses that are floating around.
they just draw the smiles on all the animals' faces.
The happy animals
scary.
in the boat. Yeah. But when I was in school in Iran, I used to be such a good bullshitter when it comes to coming up with religion. Like, in Iran, this whole idea of metaphors and stuff in the Quran was kind of accepted. So I came up with this idea. I don't know how old I was. I don't know, maybe 14 or 15. I'm not sure. But I told my teacher that I think that Noah's Ark is talking about the primordial soup. Do you know what I'm talking about? Because before we learn in Iran, we learn in biology that most of planet Earth was covered in water until wait, no. So it wasn't covered in water, but then it rained, and then it became covered mostly in water, and then bacteria came out of the oceans, and then the bacteria turned into us. I was like, well, this is what Noah's Ark is talking about. I said the Noah's Ark is not talking about an ark. I made this up, by the way, as a kid, all right? And my teacher fucking loved it. And like, yes, you're right. And I said Noah's Ark is talking about all the DNA information that was kept in a cell, right? This is talking about the cell because it's talking about all the animals, all the information to all the animals, right? It's talking about the DNA, not animals. This is all the codes that are stored in there, right? And look, the world was not covered in water, and then it was covered in water, and all the animals came from the cells that came out of the water. See, and it worked. It was so perfect, right? So my religious teacher loved it. So, but I just made that up. I don't know. All right. So
that is crazy smart. I didn't. I just sat there terrified, not even trying to think about something else.
Right. That's blasphemy. No, not in Iran. Actually, in Iran, do you guys? A lot of people are surprised that in Iran, when I tell them in Iran, evolution is accepted, and the Big Bang is accepted. And the first cells in like the primordial soup and all that we learn that in school. It's part of school curriculum. And when you talk about Adam and Eve in Quran, they're like, oh, that's just metaphor. And in fact, it was a surprise to me when I left Iran that other non-Iranian Muslims, Islamic scholars, like fake scholars, are anti-evolution. I was like, wait, religious, and then Christians, a lot of Christians are against evolution. I'm like, really? I thought this was accepted fact everywhere. Even as a religious person, I thought that. deportation. I hope they go after Kinham. So Moose is saying that if Trump's Justice Department is going after crackdown on deportation, I hope they go after Kinham. I think he's a citizen. I'm not sure.
Bradicus asked, "Are there dinosaurs in the Ark?" Yes, Kinham does have dinosaurs in his Ark.
Wow, so these
they play with children.
Dinosaurs playing
like
with
the
children.
Flintstones.
Yes, Flintstones. Okay. All right, that's funny. All right, let's go to the next one.
Next one. So, in Alberta, Sikhs can now ride motorcycles without helmets. Alberta is actually the.
Go on.
Alberta is the third province in Canada
Province.
to allow. Yes, province. Did I say provenance?
Yeah.
Province in Canada to allow this exemption to the law. So, yeah, I mean, this is crazy. A lot of people are like, well, why does it matter? It's just like having laws that force people to buckle up. I think that that's ridiculous. People should be able to make that choice on their own. And I don't think so because as a parent, I want to make sure that children are buckled up safely, right? So if you hit my car, it shouldn't be my choice.
Let's cover the story. Let's explain the story first, right? So, everybody, the rule is everybody has to have a helmet, right? When you're riding motorcycles,
right?
But
yeah.
Sikhs, because they cover their hair with this, what is it called? Turban, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, this guy in the picture is this very bright colored turban. They don't have to cover their hair because of a religious exemption, right? Which is fucking bullshit, isn't it?
Right.
I mean, come on. Like, honest, I don't know. I mean, okay. So it goes beyond just safety. This is again putting religion on the pedestal and making like, it's not. This is not just about this law. Because now you're making precedent for making exemptions for religions, like as if it makes it something special. As if like, there's a monster under my bed that says that I could have taken AK-47 into the airport. Like nobody fucking takes that seriously, right? Like why is this taken seriously? Just cover your head. I mean, you're supposed to. First of all, they're supposed to hide their hair, right? Doesn't a helmet do that?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. This is bullshit. We should fight this in Canada. We should fight this.
I think so. I mean, okay, so, people, I try to be a very safe driver, especially when I have my kids, right? And I want to be able to know that if I accidentally hit somebody, they're going to be safer in their cars because they're taking all their safety precautions. So this isn't just about this one individual person's choice. What if somebody hits him and he now cracks his head open and dies because he wasn't wearing a helmet, when a helmet could have prevented that? It's, we have to have these rules because I just don't think that everyone really thinks about these things. And
I mean,
I think that...
I mean, if this wasn't a rule for everybody, I wouldn't be pissed, right? The fact that it's a rule for everybody and not for these people, that's what pisses me off, right?
Yeah.
Because it's like basically making religion something so special, but like, oh, I just believe in this, so I don't have to do what the government tells everybody else to do. Look, fuck that. Like, what the hell, right? I mean, UA is saying this is more religious privilege that one group of people. I mean, okay, Allie, I know you're thinking about the consequences when it comes to this specific law. I'm thinking about the consequences of what that means about religion, right? And as UA is pointing out, this is more religious privilege that one group of people, because their religious headgear is outside the law. Yeah, that's what I'm pissed about. These are dangerous precedents. Exactly. That's what I'm pissed about. Alice saying if you can't wear a helmet, then don't drive a motorcycle. Yeah. The society doesn't have to accommodate your personal belief. If you get to have your personal beliefs and you have to adjust your life based on your own personal belief. The society doesn't have to adjust itself based on your personal beliefs. Brian is saying the government has no right to make you wear a helmet or a hijab. Okay, Brian, even if that's the case, the point here is that why is this a rule for everybody else and not for these people, right? We're not talking about whether or not this law is just to make people wear helmets or not. We're talking about why these people are being treated differently. Helmet law was because medical. Okay, they're talking now. There's an argument within the group.
Yeah.
Armin. Okay, Moose. Okay, thank you for putting Armin there, so I know which ones to read. Armin, I don't agree with countries making laws for any citizens that are because of because of religious exemptions. Yeah, that bullshit is trying to become a thing in the U.S., but some Christians flip. We need to find more exemptions to use so that this becomes ridiculous. Like we need, like, does Canada have? We need the Satanic Temple in Canada. Do we have that in Canada?
I know you do. You do
Yeah,
need it there.
we need to like have pitchforks when we're like or something. I don't know, in airports, or well, I don't know, motorcycles. We need to make the flying spaghetti monster a religion here, and put like, spaghetti strainers. Is that what they're called?
Yeah, pasta strainers.
But I don't want to do that because that's not safe, right? I don't want atheists to die trying to make a point. I don't know. This has to backfire somehow.
Yeah.
Moose is saying years ago when they thought Sharia law was coming to U.S., Pastafarians. Yeah, BFK 1970s saying Pastafarians should be able to wear
Colanders,
colanders. Yeah, but again, I don't know. I don't want that when they're driving a motorcycle. I don't want to lose atheists to this. This is so bad. This is so bad. And I know that there's going to be an asshole there that is going to be like, that's fine. This is Darwinism. Let these people like have an accident and die. And like, I'm like, fuck off. Like nobody deserves to die because they're stupid, okay, or because they believe in nonsense. I just don't know how this could backfire in a way that doesn't cause people danger. But this is stupid. This should not be accepted. Somebody should challenge this. We need the Freedom from Religion Foundation in Canada. Are they in They're not in Canada, are they?
I don't think so.
They should have a branch in Canada. Oh, wow, this top comment. This one got a lot of attention when you posted it. On our page. It got the top
it did, right?
Yeah. Top comment is saying from Kieran, saying, I don't see the problem. It's not like not wearing a helmet is going to hurt anyone, but the person who has had the freedom of choice, that's missing the point. This is setting a precedent for making religion special, making people with religion be able to be treated differently than everyone else. Jimmy, the guy who fought for the helmet to not be law in Michigan, died in a motorcycle accident with a trauma to the head. Is that true? Holy fuck.
I don't know if that's true.
All right, I don't know. We don't know if that's true.
Oh, it looks like the lawmaker who did, not,
we don't know if that's true.
There's a news article on it right there.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay.
But
okay,
yeah,
so,
doesn't matter.
If Sikhs boycotted motorcycles because they can't wear helmets due to turbans, it would be a very decent thing to do. What? Is motorbike more important than their Wahiguru? I don't know what that means. If not, then why are they forcing lawmakers to discriminate? Aren't they always... I think this is not right English. Aren't they always pretend? Aren't they always pretend to be ambassador of peace or something? This is the problem with every religious people. They are full of hypocrisy. I'm not sure what the point was there. But
me either.
Be a very decent thing to do. What does that mean? Is that, am I reading
I don't know.
Yeah.
Why you are reading it right.
Okay.
It's just
how did I get 81 likes if I'm not getting the point? Anyway. I don't know. I think Sikhs get away with a lot of shit because they haven't been like bombing anybody, right? So we're like, they're just Sikh, let them have what they want, right? But again, this is religion. This is when you give religion special privileges, you're making room for all religion to get special privileges, right?
I don't know. maybe like I don't think women in that religion wear turbans, right? It's only men, right?
Yeah. I mean, women.
Yeah.
I've seen women wear this like weird thing that they do wear something. It's just not a turban. Like it's just like a little ball thing that they, shove their
Wrap their hair
wrap their
in.
head in. Yeah, I don't know what it is.
Yeah, because I hate you. You've seen my hair. Like I have crazy hair, and I hate shoving that into a motorcycle helmet.
Right.
I don't know. It'd be nice to get away with something
You know,
else. Not do that.
isn't it true that Sikhs get to carry knives in the airplane?
Now that I don't know about.
Because they're supposed to have a knife with them, a dagger with them all the time, right? That's part of the.
Wow.
So I think I'm not sure, but I think there are some places.
I will look into that this week.
Right. Yeah, this is a secular country. Laws must be for everyone equally or non-equally. that's not written right. And it got okay. This comment is not correct. Okay, this is a secular country. Laws must be for everyone equally. That was I was with you until you said or non-equally. No, no. What? So okay. Well, how did this get 72 likes? Do people not read these comments before liking them?
I don't think a lot of people do.
Okay. Oh, look, this is one of the comments that I knew that somebody's going to say. See, I've been reading people's comments so much. I know. I predict the comments before they even come there. Irina is saying yes to natural selection. See? I knew there's going to be there's going to be an asshole that's going to say something like that. No. Okay? No matter how stupid your ideology is or what bullshit you believe in, you don't deserve to die because of it. Okay? Darwinism and natural selection is a force of nature. It doesn't mean that the laws of society should be built on it. It's not a good thing to try to aim for. Even the dumbest of us deserve to be happy, I think. Okay, so let's go to the next one. 16 guards.
Yeah, 16
By the way,
guards are needed.
let me clarify. I'm not saying all Sikh people are dumb, right? That's why I say even if you're dumb or if you just believe in nonsense, because a lot of smart people believe in nonsense, okay? You could be very, very smart and still believe in bullshit. Anyways, let's go to the next one.
Yeah, 16 guards are needed to protect a German imam who fights for gender equality. So a Berlin-based imam, and I cannot pronounce his name, Seyran Atiz. She receives hate mail and death threats daily.
She's an imam?
Yeah.
Woman imam.
In Germany. This woman is incredible, Armin. Okay, so she started a mosque.
Is that her
Germany.
picture that we're looking at right now?
Yes.
Okay. She's
so
not wearing the hijab and she has short hair.
No. In her mosque, burqas and niqabs are strongly discouraged and headscarves are optional. Women lead in prayer. Men and women pray in the same space.
Okay, now I know why she needs 16 guards. Like this is
yeah.
Okay, when I see her, the last thing I think of is an imam. I mean, imam and woman doesn't even go together in my head right now, right?
I know, but yeah. So she
Okay, this completely makes sense why she needs 16 guards. Like she's like completely turning everything. This is, I mean, is this even Islam? I mean, what is this?
I know.
Women leading in prayer.
It's crazy, but her goal is just gender equality. So she's basically cherry picking beliefs.
She's not cherry picking. She's just making something new out of thin air. Right?
I still think she's incredible. Okay, like I understand right. She is still not forcing, but she's still backing Islam. But what she's doing, I think, is just awesome. So
she's trolling Islam. That's what she's doing.
She is. She's totally trolling Islam.
Okay.
But so they have a lot of LGBT people that go to their mosque and they like to pray. Um, and yeah, so she is just really trying to stop the gender segregation that's going on there and women's reduction to sex objects by, making them hide behind burqas and everything else. So that's why those are so strongly discouraged at her mosque.
I always hate that when they say, "Oh, women shouldn't be sex objects," or what. Yeah, unless they want to, or men can
Unless
be.
they want to be.
Yeah,
Right?
if
Yeah.
don't be a sex object if you're a man or a woman until you decide to be. Like, don't tell. Like, I think true liberation it comes when you don't tell women that they shouldn't be sex objects. You tell them that they get to be what they fucking want to be. That's real feminism to me, right? If you want to be a sex object, be a fucking sex object. If you don't want to be a sex object, don't be a sex object. Anyways, but I always hate it when be like, "Oh, women shouldn't be sex objects." Well, maybe you shouldn't be telling women what they shouldn't be.
Oh, no, you're totally right.
Right,
Totally right about that. Um, so yeah, this woman was named Germany's Woman of the Year back in 2005. She's been living in Germany since she was 6 years old. And it just kind of goes on to tell about her life and kind of what she's done. But yeah, I didn't know this place existed in Germany, her mosque.
I mean,
So
the fact that she needs 16 guards by who? Like she's paying for it, or is this government guards? Is this
That's a really good question. I don't know.
Because I don't know how she could afford 16 security guards in Germany,
right?
From all places, right? Like, that's going to be expensive.
Yeah.
16 guards are needed to protect the German imam who fights for gender equality. The fact that she needs 16 guards tells you a lot about Islam. In Germany, imagine how many guards she would need if she was in Iraq or somewhere else.
She wouldn't make it.
She wouldn't need an army.
No, exactly.
Right. So, I mean, it tells you a lot about... I mean, and people are like, "Oh, this is a good thing. She's reforming Islam." I mean, come on. She's just making her own stuff up, right? I mean, okay, fine. If you want to call that Islam, go ahead, call it Islam. I mean, I could be like, let's get together and make, sandcastles, and this is my Islam now. And if you tell me, like, this has nothing to do with Islam, I'm like, who are you to tell me what Islam is? My Islam is making sandcastles on the beach, right? I mean,
yeah.
You can't, people... gender equality. I mean, has she read the Quran? I think. I mean, if you're fighting for gender equality, and you read the Quran, and you still take that book seriously, I really think there's something wrong with you, right? If you're fighting for gender equality, and a book is telling you how to beat your wife, if you fear disobedience, I think the first step is like, yeah, we should throw away this book, all right? Or at least not take it seriously as a guide, okay? So, I mean, kudos to her for doing whatever she thinks is right, but honestly, don't give Islam credit for any of this gender equality bullshit, okay? If you right,
exactly. That's what gets me, because she goes off to tell about how other mosques around her call Jews corrupt and evil and treacherous people, and call for war on all people who don't follow.
That's what your book
Islam.
tells. It's not just them.
Exactly.
It's in the Quran. It's in the Hadith. Like, oh, these other Muslims are my Islam.
It's the same book, lady.
Yeah, I mean, this is what I have a problem with reform. If you're fighting for gender equality, you have to be fighting against religion. You have to be fighting against Islam. You shouldn't be reforming Islam, okay? You're basically shooting yourself in the foot because you're making excuses for a book that deserves no excuses, right?
I still think this lady's a badass, though.
She's a badass. She's a badass, and I mean, I like her. I just don't agree with the direction she's going, but she's still a badass.
Yeah.
I mean, I like her personally. Like, I mean, the fact that she's trolling Islam is funny and awesome. but still, I would fight a different fight. If I was fighting with. I mean, maybe she. I mean, at the same. Okay, so the very least, the fact that she needs 16 guards is making our point to show how anti-gender equality Islam is.
Right.
But there were some other comments. Moose, you mentioned if I heard a story about something else, but let's try to keep it on the stories that we're covering. I think there's a debate going on between people in the live chat, so I'm not going to get into that. There's a somebody is reading Hanuz and
Yeah, guys, if you have, if you want to ask us about stories, just post them in the comments after this, after we post this airing, and I'll get to it. We'll talk about it next week, all you want.
There's a Persian writing here. It says, Hanuz and Jahan Adam Golamas. Is that what it means? It means it's Peshawar. Okay. I don't know. Is that a poem or something? UA, Canada had a much more moderate female imam, and she had problems too. Yeah. Musa saying, what is an imam? Imam is a religious leader, like a priest in Christianity. Brian XX is saying, if Muslims look at modern day feminism, I'm gonna guess it hurts selling them on feminism. Well, we're talking about okay. So when it comes to feminism, has a bad rep when it comes to modern feminism. If you guys just want to be clear what we're talking about gender equality here. A religious leader of mosque or okay. So by the way, imam has two different meanings. Just to be clear, for both, it's either a religious leader, kind of like a priest, but it also has in Shia Islam. It also might be referring to the 12 imams that came after Mohamed, starting with Ali, ending with Imam Mehdi, with the 12er imams, the 12er Shia Muslims. And these 12 imams are more like saints rather than just priests, like they're holy, divine kind of figures. So either you're talking about those 12 imams or you're talking about just a random religious leader. So that's two separate meanings. By the way, Sunnis don't like that second meaning that I just mentioned. They don't have the same way that Protestants don't have saints and they don't like Catholics praying to saints. Sunnis hate Shias for praying to their imams and considering imams holy and divine. Because just like Protestants think only Jesus is God and you could only pray to Jesus, and Catholics have this wrong view of Christianity, is exactly kind of the same with the Sunni Shia relationship. Are they guarding her from all of the Jared is in regards to the comment that 16 guards, this woman needs 16 guards. Jared commented, are they guarding her from all of the peace? That's funny. Okay, let's go to the next. Okay, next one. Anything in the live chat? Anything in the live chat?
Nothing on Facebook, and I think you covered everything that was in our live chat that we wanted to talk about.
Okay, next one.
Next one, Nevada Lieutenant Governor candidate pushed Scientology on former employees. So Brent Jones, who is now running for the lieutenant government position in Nevada, used to have his own bottled water company where his employees say he pushed Scientology on them, right? And he has multiple lawsuits against him now because of it. So
wait, push Scientology on his employees in a water bottling company? Is that
yep.
what? Okay, how do you do that? How do you push Scientology on your employees?
So the claims are what he was doing was he was forcing his employees to like sit in the break room and watch little short video clips and movies about Scientology. And he was also making them read stuff by L. Ron Hubbard. And
how do you make your employees do that? Like that's weird. Like you,
I can't make people do anything. I can't even make my kid eat her sandwich. I have no idea this guy is
yeah.
making
like we
people read L. Ron Hubbard
like
stuff.
he would give them the books, and he would like you get fired if you don't pass the test. Like he would ask you about it. Like did you?
Well, I think that's the thing is some of the claims have to be the fact that he was discriminating them based on their personal beliefs if they rejected his Scientology propaganda.
Right.
Um, So a lot of the former employees say that he blurred the lines between promotion of Scientology as a religion and various secular management techniques created by L. Ron Hubbard. So he was saying that he was being very secular towards his employees, but he was always asking them to read The Way to Happiness, which is a secular seeming
Oh, right. Yeah,
pamphlet
yeah.
and things like that, you know? So like his
Yeah,
leadership
actually,
style was
Scientology has a when you start getting in, you can't even tell that this is a religion. They're like, are you
yes.
like they're clever? Like they're like, are
He
you
was blurring the
sad?
lines like
Yeah,
that.
they're just like whenever like in the street somebody comes to me and say like, are you sad? Like you're a Scientologist, aren't you? Right? I'm like, yes. Do you have sadness in it? Like, yeah. Like, as soon as somebody said like, are you taking, you know, drugs for your problems and yeah, like, and then they have e-meters, to check how sad you are, and this is the only religion that I know of, only mass religion that I know of that they start charging you right off the gate, right? Like,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, other religions wait until you're fully indoctrinated until they start taking advantage of you. This one is like, no, $200 to begin with.
Yeah.
This is pretty, yeah,
If
pretty,
you want to be happy, you'll pay us and we'll
yeah.
make you
But
happy.
they tried to disguise themselves as another religion, but like kind of like a mental health, self
An
help.
alternative to psychology.
Yeah, alternative. Yes, good. Yeah, good way of alternative psychology against modern medicine kind of stuff, right?
Yeah.
And they have the word science in their Scientology that makes it look like people are like, oh, this is like, and they make it seem like they're anti-religion, anti-superstition, but they're just fucking bullshit themselves. So
Yeah.
it's easy to like act like you're pushing for something secular by just using the right words. But go on, sorry.
No, it's okay. So he's being sued now by former employees, and he did win one lawsuit that the judge threw out the case, but he has others that he's going up against. And since he is now a candidate for lieutenant governor, he actually on his website, on his campaign website, he put up a section where he's talking about the Scientology stuff he's going through right now.
Mm.
He doesn't deny using L. Ron Hubbard's material at all. He just says that he focused on the secular aspects of it, not the religious parts.
Wait, so they're
And
admitting that
I think
there's
this is
religious?
crazy.
I've
Hmm?
never heard a Scientologist admitting that they're a religion openly.
Yeah,
So he
he is
so he's
straight up saying that he focused on secular aspects, not the religious parts.
so he's admitting that Scientology has religious parts. That's weird.
Yeah.
I bet you the centers that they have is called like Scientology churches, right?
Yeah.
I bet you they regret calling them churches.
The Church of Scientology. Well, that's how they have their church status with the IRS. And
Oh yeah,
aside from
actually they have. So they have their PR front and the IRS front. So to the IRS, like we're a religion. To everybody else,
right,
no, we're not a religion. It's like
right.
these
So they
motherf-
have to
these
keep some aspect of
these
it.
motherfuckers like pulled off the greatest anti-IRS battle of all time. Like I mean, to go against the IRS and hire so many lawyers to pressure them to get away from so much tax money. Like I don't know what they did, but they got so many. The IRS people were afraid of these people, right?
Yeah,
And to come out of that winning, I mean, people when it comes to IRS, people are always scared of the IRS, and these people went against that beast and came out winning, right?
exactly.
That's a
crazy.
These people are scary. Like, these people can destroy your life with legal fees if they wanted to, right?
They can,
Like,
yes.
I think they're gonna come after. Like, Allie, we need to be careful. They're gonna come after us. I mean, if we were, no, these people are, this is called legal bullying, right? Because they have so many lawyers on their side, and they need to run out of money at some point. I don't know I don't know how they're still around.
I don't
They have
either.
too many. They don't have that many followers, but they have too many rich people on their side. So many celebrities, rich people, and now they don't pay taxes. It's such a fucking scam. This whole thing, this whole religious angle to this. It's basically, it's just like every other con, but then when you put the religious label on it, it's just become legal, and not only becomes legal, it becomes tax exempt. Right?
Yeah.
So, this is why religion is such a fucking, plague. Because it's just a label that you add, you stick on cons, and now your con becomes legal and tax exempt. Yeah, and it's just no different before and after you put the religious label on it. No, okay, so you get three things. First, it becomes legal, even though it's a con, because you're promising people things that are not there, and you're taking their money away from them in exchange for those promises. You just legalized the con. You made it tax exempt for some fucking reason, and now you also deserve respect, because if it was any other con, people were like, "Well, that's a fucking con," but now you have a religion label. Oh no, we have to respect people's ideologies, right?
Yep.
And the only thing that was different between the con was being labeled a religion. And this is why it's such an... it pisses me
I
off.
know.
All right.
I know.
Let me see. Okay. Any comments? Wait. Moose is saying, Armin, a science fiction writer, came up with... I know, yeah, L. Ron Hubbard was a science fiction writer. In fact, there's a quote of him saying that making pennies for every word is not how you make money. If you want to get rich, you have to start your own religion. He was a science fiction writer. People know this, and they still believe this religion. Yeah.
I want to be like L. Ron Hubbard when I grow up.
UA is saying, exactly, Armin, why are we respecting religion as opposed to the snake oil salesman? I don't know. It's just people just have agreed that just put the religion label on it, and all of a sudden everything is different. Oh, this one. Oh my God. Yeah. Okay. So, yeah. Next story.
Yeah, next story. The Beirut Pride canceled after organizer was detained. This is so sad because Lebanon became the first Arab country to hold Gay Pride Week. And the organizer of the Beirut Pride, Hadi Damien, was taken into the police station overnight after security services came to one of his events.
Wait, okay, so just to be clear to people, Lebanon is, I think, relative to other Arab countries in the Middle East, or other majority Muslim countries. And I know, okay, Lebanon is not a Muslim country, but it's a majority Muslim country, okay? The president in Lebanon is supposed to be Christian. The prime minister is supposed to be Sunni. I think the head of parliament is supposed to be Shia. It's weird. Like, you can't be president unless you're a certain kind of Christian, right? In Lebanon, even though it's a majority Muslim country. But I think that was their solution to sectarian wars, and to just share the power. But Lebanon, is one of the most, relatively to other majority Muslim countries in the Middle East, and relative to other Arab countries, and those two are different, please note that, they're more liberal, right? So the fact that they managed to even start Pride in Beirut is huge, right? I mean, this is the first one, right?
Last year's was the first one. This was going to be the second one.
Oh, so how come they had a problem with this year but not last year?
And that's yeah, that's part of the problem. This year, it started off with a brunch on Sunday with parents celebrating parents who had not rejected their children when they came out as homosexuals. Um,
Wait,
and
Brian.
then Monday night,
Sorry, go
Mhm.
on. I'll answer Brian's question, but go on.
Okay. And then Monday night, the head of the Pride was detained by police, and was forced to sign a document saying that he would stop everything that he was doing. And even though Lebanon is known to be one of the most tolerant Muslim majority countries, like you said, they still do have issues with police
Yet
acting
relatively,
against.
again, that's very important because they're still not
Yeah,
tolerant at all, right?
right.
Relative to other countries, other Arab countries, not even other countries, because if you look at Israel, they have had great, they celebrate their gay pride all the time, right?
Right.
So relative to Israel's tolerance for gay rights, they're way behind. But relative to other Arab or majority Muslim countries, they're way ahead. But go on.
Yes, and Lebanon even has a penal code that punishes any sexual intercourse contrary to the order of nature, which can get somebody 1 year in prison.
So
Um,
how is it like? Okay, so they're saying so if that law was in the book, basically the message is celebrate your gay pride, but if we catch you having anal sex, you're still going to prison. Is that
yes.
okay? Um, but that was last year.
Well, and it's finally stopped, but in recent years, authorities would conduct raids and arrest people. And then remember how you and I covered how they would subject people to torture, including forced anal examinations and things like that. They
Wait,
just stopped in Kenya. Do you
okay,
remember when we
that
covered
was in
that? They
Kenya.
used
Yeah.
to do that in Lebanon too.
Wow. Okay.
Yes.
And as Brian pointed out, they just recently elected Hamas in their parliamentary election. Like they got the most seats, and Hamas is like an extreme terrorist, a Shia group, backed by not a Hamas. Sorry, not Hamas. Hezbollah. Oof.
Hezbollah.
I was
Yeah.
sorry. I was just reading Brian's comment. Not Hamas. Brian Hezbollah. Um, the reason why I think he said Hamas was because Hamas is also anti-Israel. Hamas is Sunni. Hezbollah is Shia. But
Mhm.
Hezbollah is a Iranian proxy. Brian is saying my bad. No, no worries. Um, but it's an extreme, very religious. The thing is that Lebanon is a country of contradictions. Okay, like it's very bizarre. Um, like as I mentioned last time when we were covering the elections, you see girls in very liberal dress, holding up Hezbollah signs without hijab and holding uh, Hezbollah Imam posters. I don't know what that mentality is there. Like if I see an Iranian girl without hijab, my impression would be that they would hate anything Imam or anything very religious or anything. In Iran, that's the attitude. Like the more if any chance you get, you will take off the hijab if it's in private or in places that you can't be seen. That to me, in Iran, that's a sign that you're very anti religious authority, right? Or anything that is very religious. But in Lebanon, when I see pictures of, I mean, in Lebanon, hijab is not mandatory, right? So many girls wear the hijab, many more don't. And when I see girls without hijab supporting Hezbollah, it is for any Iranian that's weird looking. You know what I mean? Like why are these like liberal girls supporting something like Hezbollah, right? And a lot of it might have to do with anti-Israeli sentiment. Correct me if I'm wrong. If anybody from Lebanon is here, and his like you might be liberal, but you're so anti-Israel that you support Hezbollah because they're right now the greatest force against Israel. Um, that might have something to do with it. So it's weird. I don't know. But Hezbollah is more powerful in Lebanon now, and they're very religious. and they're not they don't support gay rights. I don't. Do you think that has something to do with it? That they're canceling this gay pride because Hezbollah is now feels.
It very well could be.
I don't know.
Very well could be it. There was no indication as to why
They
they
didn't
did
say
this.
anything. Was this like official police or like people that are kind of, I don't know. In Iran we have police, and then people that don't dress like police but act like police. Did they say any by which authority, which group came and did this?
So a venue called him and said that the general security, that they needed a script about something they were going to put on about homophobic crimes. And when he went there, the Bureau of Censorship, they required an approval from the Bureau of Censorship.
Wait, so the Bureau they have a Bureau of Censorship, as in a bureau that censors things or stops fights against censorship? Like, what is this bureau supposed to do? Is it like a bureau?
That is a good question, but it was the vice police.
That's a very weird. If your job is to
officers.
censor things, that's a very bizarre name to have.
That would be insane.
Because if your job is to censor things, I think the name that you would choose would be like the Bureau for Religious Guidance, or the Bureau for Moral. I don't know.
Yeah, and I mean, since this
for enforcing
play needed
morality
approval,
or something like that, but like to call yourself Bureau of Censorship, unless you're fighting censorship, that's a very bizarre name to have. But go on, sorry.
It is, but I do think that that's exactly what they do, because he had to get approval from the Bureau of Censorship to put on this play about homophobic crimes. But whenever he showed up to the venue, the vice police officers were there and accompanied him to an actual police station, where he was informed that he would be detained overnight. And yeah, so this looks like it was real official police officers.
So they detained as in arrested him, or like, we need to hold you for your own safety?
That they just detained him and made him sign a piece of paper, a pledge promising to cancel forthcoming Pride events.
Oh my goodness!
So I'm going to assume that the detaining was, you're going to stay here until you sign our pledge.
Again, another sign that any Islamic country is going backwards. We're losing Lebanon. We're gonna lose. So I think the only country that is not going backwards that is Islamic majority is Tunisia right now. So let's hope we don't lose Tunisia, because we're losing Lebanon to Hezbollah right now. This is fucked up. But Brian is asking, do they just use the anti-Israel for uniting factor, or is it true hatred? Well, they use the true hatred of Israel as a uniting factor, right? So UA is saying anti-Jew is a fundamental of Islam. Yeah, it's a fundamental of Islam and many other ideologies. It's like a lot of, even in Iran, there's a lot of groups of people that hate Islam, but are still, have anti-Semitic views as well. So it's part of Islam, but it's not exclusive to Islam. Their final hour can't come until the Jews are slaughtered. Yep, there's a hadith for that. And then there's an okay, so there's a whole bunch of discussion going on here. But yeah, this is sad. So that was their first year in Lebanon. Last year was their first year having a pride. How did it go last year? Do you know?
Last year was great.
So no security issues, nobody attacking them, nothing?
No, they didn't have big issues last year that I can recall. I remember following along with that.
There's a demand
it was
for
awesome.
this.
It was like a whole week of Pride.
Wow.
Yeah, there's a huge demand for this.
But the government
had a huge following. And the way it started off was pretty awesome. I mean, celebrating the parents who haven't abandoned their gay kids, that was really cool. And then the next day, everything Just
Oh, this now you're
shit.
talking about this year. This year they
Yeah,
started.
this year they started it off this year. Great.
Somebody high up in government watched this on the news and were like, got pissed. They're like, we can't have this in Lebanon. And they called
Yeah.
somebody that knows somebody, and that somebody got a whole bunch of people together, and it's basically like that. Moose is saying, Armin, the I think, okay, no. There was a Bureau of Censorship that was a bureau to set up. Wait, I think I'm going to try to read this right. A bureau set up in the Ministry of Education of Russian Empire following the passage of an enabling law on July. Okay. So basically, I think Moose is saying that the Bureau of Censorship is nothing new. We had that in 1804 in Russia as well. I think that's very bad PR for what you're calling your. I mean, in Iran, at least they call it the Islamic Gasht Irshad. They call it like morality police, or they call it the Ministry of Islamic Morality. Like, what is it called? Yeah, but they call it something like something positive rather than negative, as if like we're just It's still scary. Like whenever you hear morality police, like what the fuck is that, right? But still, to call it the Bureau of Censorship, that's pretty direct to what they're doing, right? Like we're just censoring people. That's what we're doing. We're just censoring, right?
No big deal.
Like it shows you their I mean, I think it shows you how we take it for granted that like when we hear here in the West and in free countries, we have free speech, we see censorship and we have like a negative feeling towards that word. But it shows you how in many places censorship is not even considered as like a negative, right? Like, yeah, this is our job. We censor things, right? I mean, honestly, I think that maybe if I was back in Iran 13 years ago, maybe I wouldn't, when I heard the word censorship, I wouldn't assume that everybody would be against that. Maybe after all these years here, I assume censorship bad, against free speech. Your mentality might be different if you're in different places. It just shows how we take it for granted that we see censorship on average a bad thing, free speech is a good thing. We take that as a given, but these values are not, accepted everywhere, right? So much so that you have a Bureau of Censorship. So Moose is saying, Armin, do you think these countries need to adopt freedom of speech like the U.S. has in its constitution? Well, yeah, I think that should be a universal value. But I mean, in Canada we don't have that, and I'm jealous of you guys in the U.S. that have that in your constitution. You never know what could happen.
Yeah.
This is the only thing that I'm jealous of as a Canadian of U.S. laws. You guys, this is one thing that the United States has that is way better than what we have in Canada. You guys have that in your constitution, which is very valuable, and I think you guys don't understand how valuable that is to have that.
Well, we're jealous of your healthcare, so.
All right, so I think that's last one, right? So just one last question. I'll just answer one last question, and then we'll go. Well, two questions. Okay, Armin, what does it mean living in a country not having? What does it mean living in a country not having free speech? Do you mean what does it feel living in a country? I don't know. What does it mean? It means that you don't have free speech. UA say, Armin, you guys should work for it now to be added. Yeah, good luck with that. You can't. I mean, we are already like adding that to the Constitution and can't. Like, I don't know if that's not a. I mean, we're already fighting religion. Please don't add. I mean, that's a very. Is there any other country that has that other than the U.S. in their constitution, free speech? I don't think so. That's a very unique thing to have.
It is.
Yeah, you guys don't know how important it is. I don't think you can get that anywhere else. But um, just I think the only thing we can do is just to adapt that as like because it's not set in stone for us or other countries that this is something that we should have like it is in the U.S. The better fight to fight is to just make sure that this is something that we spread as a value that people want to have. So if it's understood as a value and if it's and fighting for free speech, like for example in the U.S., you guys, no matter how many social justice warriors you have, your free speech is not gonna go away because it's in your fucking constitution, right? But in Canada, if we have, I don't know what's gonna happen in 50 years if we get like a plague, like a social justice warriors. I mean, we got like the Islamophobia for the first time written in a government document. That was very scary, but we got a huge reaction to that, so that was encouraging. But we need to spread these values so that even though we don't have that in our constitution, at least it's valued so much by the population that they shut down any laws that will go against it, right? But that was scary. That I mean, the government document that had Islamophobia written for the first time in Canada, it wasn't a law, but even though it wasn't a law, it was still bad precedent that word made it to government documents. That was very scary. That is like very scary for us here in Canada, right? We want to react to that so much so that never makes something like that never actually makes it into law. Anyways, that's the last comment I'm gonna, or else I'm gonna be here till tomorrow. Anyways, thank you guys. You guys are all awesome. The live chat is so great. We missed Savannah here today, but Beej is here. Brian, Moose. You guys are awesome. UA. I like Brian's comments, even though I know people sometimes hate on him, but I don't want our. I like the fact that our comment section is not like a circle jerk. Like we do get some comments from that are not agreeing with us, so I really appreciate Brian for that. Thank you to you both. Thank you, UA. Alice saying you're awesome. Oh, thank you, Alice. Beej is saying thank you, Armin and Ellie and everyone in the chat. Yeah, thank you, Beej. Beej is awesome. Moose is saying good night, all. Bye. So there were some other people on the top. Peshawar, thank you. Freelance opportunist. That's a cool username. Thank you. And anybody else that missed, thank you guys. You guys are all great. And everybody in the Facebook chat, anybody? Tammy was there.
Yeah, Tammy was there. It looks like Joseph popped in to make a comment. So, yeah, thank you guys. Thank you guys so much.
Right, thank you guys. All right, and please go to our. And guys, if you listen to this on our podcast, if you go to iTunes and leave us a 5-star review, that would really, really help us out. So please do that if you want to help us spread this podcast to more people. It will make iTunes show this podcast to more people. All right. Bye, everyone.